Greetings, Earthlings. It is Jay here, your accountability coach and ghetto psychologist, and it is my life's purpose to get Black people to mentally unplug from this patriarchal system of white supremacy. Yo, today we going into some personal development. It's a lot going on in the world, but let's get to the root, right? Some of us want to be better. Some of us have a fear of not living up to our potential. Some of us are okay with mediocrity. Some of us don't care about progression at all. Which one do you fall under? There's no judgment here. I don't care. I know there's a space for everybody in this world. Otherwise, God would not have created you. Whether you're good, whether you're bad, whether you are just mediocre. But I'm here to talk to the people that it really fuels them to become the best version of themselves. So, one question that you have to ponder on, one question you have to ask yourself is, what is the best version of myself? What is that? In an individual way, of course, because only you can speak to that. But there are some generalizations that we can pull from when it comes to what we consider to be great humans. We all know that great humans are honest, they have integrity, right? They speak truth, even if it hurts people's feelings. Great humans hold themselves accountable, even if it's uncomfortable. You know, if you fucked up, you own it and you don't make excuses for it, but you also don't let people make you out to be this bad person just because you made some mistakes. We're all human. We all have somewhere to grow from. Right? Great humans don't go around here hurting people. Great humans lead or know how to follow. Great humans change the people that they are around. It could be the most subtle change. Great humans do the work. So I said all of that to say, if you are someone who, again, it is your duty, your goal to become that better person, the best version to live up to your full potential, then we're going to talk about who you are versus who you want to be. Now, like I said earlier, everybody has a starting point. Some of us don't understand the control we have at that starting point. Most of the times when I talk about a starting point, I am thinking basically about what you were born into that you did not have control over, right? What kind of parents did you have? What kind of family did you grow up in? Were you abused? Were you traumatized early in life? What really happened to you to shape you in some of the negative ways? So, not to get it twisted, I am a shadow worker. An accountability coach is going to hold up a mirror to you to show you what you should be accountable to and what you should hold other people accountable to. That being said, you don't have any accountability about what you were born into. That is what falls upon your parents. That's what falls upon your family or whoever it was that had a part in raising you. That's their accountability. So you don't have to kind of, wash your hands of that. But that doesn't mean that it didn't affect you. So you have accountability not over what you were born into, but how it affected you. And how can you use those experiences to lift you up instead of holding you down. This is all about self empowerment. I understand when you guys get into shadow work, when you hear the term shadow work, if you are someone who's into spirituality or if you're someone who just does the work, when you hear that, you get uncomfortable because you're like, whoa, that sounds dark. Everybody has a dark side, everybody has a light side. Yin and yang. It's how God made us. That's the duality of existence. And that dark side doesn't have to mean that you go around here doing harm to people. You might be doing harm to yourself. You might be holding yourself back. And a lot of times, typically, that's what it is. That's the dark side of you. That the dark side of you that plays victim. The dark side of you that can't see your part in a lot of the mishaps that occurred in your life. The dark side of you that maybe you do hurt people's feelings knowingly or unknowingly. Those are the examples of your dark side. Doesn't mean you going out here, like I said, murking people. So that being said, you have to think about a couple of other things as well, right? When it comes to we have to think about a couple of other things as well when it comes to your destiny, what you can and cannot control, because that ultimately can help you to figure out how you can bridge that gap from who you are right now to who you want to be. So that being said, going back to what I said about what you were born into and you don't have any control over, a lot of us have these what ifs and should mindsets, right? My life, or could or should. My life could have been like this because you should have did this. And this is what a lot of victims use. That's the way that they frame what's going on in their lives, especially if they are putting the onus on somebody else. If you are blaming your family for your current position as a grown ass person, as an adult, if you blaming your parents for your current position, it's always this mindset of I could have been this if you would have been that. You should have did this so that I could be that. You get what I'm saying? Somebody feel me? And yeah, a lot of us we might entertain those thoughts every now and then, but they're not empowering. They don't empower you because you're placing blame on other people for your mistakes. And, you could say this at 3 years old, 4 years old, but a 3 and 4 year old, they're not going to say that, right? So that being said, we have to look at reality of the situation. And a lot of people who are not where they want to be and are not working towards what they want to be, a lot of them are in denial. They have a hard time facing reality. They have a hard time understanding that their current position is their responsibility. So, who are you? All right, let's first get into one of those conversations because it's such a weighted question. Who am I? I'm not going to really speak to that as far as who I am, but that's something you have to ask yourself without the labels, right? Say you're somebody's wife or husband, say you're somebody's mother or father. Who are you outside of that? Who are you outside of the job or career choice that you have made? Who would you be if money did not exist? A question that nobody asks. I haven't heard anybody ask that question ever. I've always asked it though. Who would you be if money didn't exist? I feel like I would probably be doing some of the same things. I would still be talking like I talk to y'all. I would still be trying to be this leader, or really being, not trying, I am, being this leader that I am. I would still want to teach people. It wouldn't be a different thing for me. So I'm who I am regardless because I do this for free. I get paid to talk to y'all. I spend hours on end making videos and editing, and I don't get paid from social media yet. So I would still be doing what I'm doing. But what would you be doing? That's a real question. Because I always say that money is a fuel to who we are as a person, because we have created a system to where money influences us more than we think. It's sublime. So that being said, right, we have to ask all of these different questions of ourselves. Who am I? Who am I right now in this moment? Then there's who do I want to be and how do I get there? We have to learn to visualize those things, right? So this is what I consider, what I call my 3-step ascension process. So with the 3-step ascension process, first thing you do is you really revisit your life and you go through it with a fine tooth comb. This is the shadow work. This is the portion where you go through your, like I said, you go through your memories, the ones that you can easily access, the traumas, the triumphs, and you try to understand what those situations did for you mentally. How did they shape your thoughts? How did they shape your belief systems? How do they shape how you move or see yourself in the world? So you're going to go through and reprocess a lot of those things. Whatever negative mindset that you gained from any trauma that you experienced, you need to create a new framework. Now, this video, I can't go through that with you one-on-one because this is a broad, general video. But this is something that I work with my clients. What happened to you that changed you, that took you away from who you want to be? Because who you want to be is ultimately who you really are. You just got to figure out how to bridge the gap. You already are that. That's the first step, the belief. I already am who I want to be. I know that. I haven't done everything that I wanted to do, but I am who I want to be. And as every day comes, I get more and more into who I am. I don't allow distractions and noise and how people think about me to shape my belief of who I am. So that being said, what happened to you? It's a question for you to answer. And if you want to talk to me, there's links below where we can have our own private sessions. If you feel like I'm someone who can kind of help you process or reprocess the things that you have gone through. So again, 3 steps. That's step number 1, reprocess. Once you've done that, first of all, let's understand this before I continue, that this is a circle of steps. So you can go backwards, forwards. There's no real step, but they're parts of the process if you know what I mean. So step 2 is visualization. Let's say, for example, that you just feel like you nowhere near where you want to be in life. You don't live in the area or in a space that you want to live in. You're not making the money that you want. The physical world is not reflecting a reality that you are happy with, right? So when you go back to the reprocessing, okay, this is going to help you to, like I said, reframe those negative thoughts and help you bridge that gap of negativity to positivity and help you reach happiness or at the very least gratitude for your current state, even if it's a state that you want to move away from. Gratitude serves. Is the only energy, because it is a form of love, it is the only energy that will get you out of whatever energy you don't want to be in. Being grateful, finding reasons to be happy. It can be hard, especially depending on what position you are in. But it's the only way. It's the only way. So, step two, you're going to start visualizing this happy life, this happy you, this you that is confident, this you that's accomplished, this you that has done the things that you want to do or doing them every day. You got to see it for yourself. You got to be clear about what that looks like. You got to be clear about what it is that you want to do. And that's a part of, again, the reprocessing. Step one. So once you get to step two and you understand who you want to be, you get to see it. You get to reflect upon it as if it is happening right now. Right? This is kind of quantum leaping. If you know, you know. The next step is the execution. Now, all of these steps are difficult, but the execution part is going to be the hardest. Only because execution is going to take you back to step one and two all the time. But then you're also adding the physical work. So let's say you want to go back to school, but you got fear surrounding that because maybe you're a little older. Maybe you feel like you don't have enough time. Maybe you feel like you can't do that in work or whatever it is that you got going on. Whatever literal excuses, because that's all it is that we make into our minds to stop us from doing what we know we want to do. Again, that's part of reprocessing. So let's say you want to go to school. You finally reprocess all of the fears and the doubts and the trauma surrounding why you have literally held yourself back from going to school. You are able to visualize yourself maybe in the classroom or taking online classes. Finally, you're at the point where you just want to do it. You want to execute. So you go through and you do the application and you get approved and you go to school. The work is hard because you ain't been to school in a long time. You got to keep going back to reprocessing because those fears keep coming up. Oh my God, I got a paper due in 2 days. How am I going to do this? I got this doing. You get what I'm saying? So we have to stay, you got to stay locked into these steps because each one will serve you in different ways and also congruently all together. You need all of them. They're kind of interdependent. Yeah, you can work on one step without working on the other. But once you get to the execution, that's when they become fully interdependent and you have to revisit step one and step two just to keep yourself focused. Just keep yourself, like I said, locked in. Before you know it, if you keep doing this over and over again, that gap between who you are currently and who you want to be, it will get tighter and tighter. I use this every day. A lot of people ask me, how do I stay so focused? How am I able to do some of the things that I've done? And I'm going to make this last portion about me. I'm going through a lot. I've been in 2 abusive relationships. I have lost so many loved ones. I've lost 2 brothers. I've lost, Jesus. I've lost grandparents. I've lost mother figures. I've lost father figures. I've lost people. Sorry if I get a little emotional. I have been very unkind to myself before. I've been very mean to myself. I've been very mean to other people. I've been a person who I kind of disconnected from because that version of me, she's still me and I still love her because I love myself under any condition. That's what unconditional is. But I also don't fully relate to her anymore just because, again, I've closed that gap between who I was and where I am now. And it's not about the physical world. It's not about money because I walked away from being a sex worker for $250,000 a year to full time doing this and working on my licensure as a psychologist. All of these things I have been working. And the only way that I have been able to close that gap is through those 3-step ascension processes. Literally just doing shadow work on myself over and over and over again. Now I'm so slightly unbothered. I don't ever want to say I'm completely unbothered. There are some things in life that bother me. I'm not an unrealistic person, but I have moved away from really giving a fuck. When I tell you I don't care what people think about me, I mean that to my soul. Because I care what my creator thinks about me. I care what my daughter thinks about me. But everybody else kind of, I don't really care that much. I don't care. I am not here to service anyone's uh, belief system or service anyone's satisfaction. I'm not here for that. I am here to service people because as a person who I feel like a person of God, if you will, I'm not Christian because everybody confused that. But as a person of God, like I am here to serve people, but I'm not here for y'all benefit. If that makes sense, you might benefit from me serving you, but I'm not here solely for you to be satisfied by my existence. And it's a point where you should get to, that everybody should get to, understanding that you do care what people think about you. Everybody does in one degree or another, right? But you can transcend that. Speaking from self, I can, and I do. I don't get online and argue with people like I used to. I've stopped doing that. I don't give a fuck what y'all believe in. I don't care. Y'all can go be lost over there, or you can think I'm lost. I don't care, right? It's about what God has put me here to do. Like I said, living to my full potential, reaching Maslow's hierarchy of needs, self-actualization. I know who I am. I accept who I am. I love who I am. And I hope that you can or do. And if anything that I said reached you, you feel like you need to understand this 3-step process a little bit more, then there's links in the description below where you can just reach out to me. You just message me. Don't message me on social media. I don't check those. But if you email me, I may respond. I am here not to do work for free, but there will be some free work that I do all the time. Like I said, this is free. But when we get to one-on-one, yes, we will have to dig into some exchange of currency because it's a lot of energy into what I do. As a shadow worker, it can be dark. I have been in sessions full on boo-hooing with my clients. I have had to end sessions early because of things that people told me that sometimes I can't, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of energy into what I do. I'm not a light worker, I'm a shadow worker. And shadow work is just as important as light work because what people don't understand is you got to go through the dark to get to the light. And if you are trying to deny your dark side or ignore it, avoid it, you will never reach the full potential of light that you can get to. So yes, let's go revisit the things that you don't want to talk about, the things that you don't want to see again in your mind's eye. You have to go through it again because you got to understand what it did to you. Again, what happened to you? What happened to you? What happened to that little girl or that little boy that knew that they were going to be something? Who suppressed you? What happened to you? And if we start there, all the pieces begin to unravel, or they all begin to fit together to form who you are right now. And then who you are right now, then start to create the version of yourself, at least in your mind's eye, that you want to be. And once you do that, you start doing the work again to bridge the gap and become that. But also know that you are already that. It's just there lying dormant and waiting for you to remove all of that. So again, just to repeat the 3-step process, 3-step ascension process, right? We are ascending to our higher self. Step 1, reprocessing, going through memories of your life, the traumas, and even the triumphs, and trying to figure out how they formed you. Second step, visualizing the life and version of yourself or whatever it is that you want. Okay, it's a little quantum leaping. Then lastly, just executing. And if maybe you don't want to talk to me, maybe you are shy, maybe you just like, I don't know you, girl. I don't want to tell you everything. I don't trust people like that because I'm that way. At least take a look at my accountability workbook. I also have a manifestation workbook. Just go look at my website. All of the links are going to be in the description box. Again, yes, I am Lovelii, your accountability coach and ghetto psychologist, and it is my life's purpose to help Black people navigate this patriarchal system of white supremacy. This is also another book. This is not a workbook, but if you are interested in understanding the ways in which, as a Black person, you might be subconsciously or subliminally plugged into this system, this matrix, this is a good book for you also. Peel back the layers of how we are the way we are right now. Again, I love you guys, and I hope I reached someone with this video. It's okay, y'all. It will be okay. It is okay. All of this is assimilation. Maybe this will make you feel better. It's just all this shit that's going on. If you didn't know, if you was not going down rabbit holes like 10, 15, 20 years ago, then this could all be a huge shock to you. But somebody like me, who a millennial that was dedicated to going down rabbit holes, especially on YouTube, this is not shocking whatsoever. I almost feel prepared for it, which is kind of weird because I don't know. But anyway, I love y'all, and I'll see y'all in the next one.